Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian, Pace reporting live here at Birdland here in New York City. Trumpeter, composer, and educator Terence Blanchard tonight is performing here with his quintet, and he's performing selections off his critically acclaimed CD Choices, which features the likes of Dr. Cornel West, Lionel Loueke on guitar, as well as soul vocalist Bilal. Earlier we sat down and we talked about the CD, we talked about the revitalization efforts in New Orleans, as well as his role as a successful film composer in Hollywood. Choices. This is the follow-up to your Grammy-Award winning CD, the music from When the Levees Break.
Yes. What we try to do with Choices, well, let me back up. Tale of God's Will was all about the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And Choices, what Choices is about is the choices that we made that put us in that predicament to begin with, and the choices that we have to make to kind of take us from there into the future. And the cool thing about the CD is that, you know, we enlisted the help of Dr. Cornel West to kind of create a debate around that topic. So I sat down with him for about an hour and just talked to him, you know, and we recorded it. And what you hear on the CD are excerpts from that 1 hour conversation.
Dr. West adds a whole analytical approach to, I guess, the catastrophe, and also he shed some light on hope, and that's a track that you recorded on the album.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing that I love about Dr. West is that he has an uncanny ability to take a lot of those abstract ideas and put it in a concrete form for all of us to really grasp and understand. You know, when he talks about the choices that you're making, what type of human beings you're going to be, I mean, it's a very practical notion when you think about it, but sometimes we don't want to think that life can be just that simple, you know, just to think of what type of person you want to be, what's the legacy that you want to leave. And by him saying that on the CD, put a lot of things in perspective for me.
Now, I understand your wife had something to do with you recording the album back in your hometown of New Orleans.
Well, yeah, I mean, Robin talked to me about the space, the Ogden Museum. She was on the board there, and they had a fundraiser there. And when she walked into this one room, this one building, she noticed that, first of all, it was a beautiful building, but the sound of it was amazing. So she kept telling me, she said, you have to check it out, you have to check it out. So she arranged for me to go see it with the people who work at the museum. They opened it up to me. And when I walked in, I said, sounds great to me, so let me fly the engineer down. Brought Frank Wolf down, who engineered the record. He walked through it, and we devised a plan because we thought that it was a great sounding place. The reverb that you hear on the CD is not digital reverb. It's mostly the stuff that just came from the building itself.
And I understand you enlisted the soulful stylings of Brother Bilal.
Oh, well, you know, Bilal and myself had talked about working together for a number of years, man, because we had done some shows together on the Spike circuit. We were doing these Spike Lee shows of the music from his movies, and Bilal kept telling me how he loved jazz and how he grew up listening to jazz, and you can obviously hear that in everything that he does. So this became the perfect project to have him on, because it created another color. It gave a certain type of balance to Dr. West's spoken word performance, and then they had Bilal singing on other tracks. Really added a nice flavor to the CD.
You left L.A. I mean, you're still a dynamic composer, and you moved back home to New Orleans after Katrina. What's it like post-Katrina right now? What's the situation like amongst the people, and what's the environment like?
Well, I mean, it's an environment of enthusiasm. I mean, one of the things that happened in New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina is that people came together in a way that we have never seen before. You know, when you have that type of devastation that crosses all lines, you know, race, gender, social status, it puts everybody in the same boat. You know, and we all had to survive together. And one of the things that happened in a lot of communities is that they circumvented government, because, you know, government was dragging its feet. FEMA wasn't responding to the needs of the community like they should. So a lot of people were just taking it amongst themselves to go out and buy supplies, help neighbors build their homes. You had a lot of church groups from all over the country coming in, doing what they could, you know, to help build homes for people, put up sheetrock and do whatever they could to get people back in their homes. And as a result, you have a community that's A, number one, very appreciative, but B, also committed to making sure that that doesn't happen again. You know, I mean, that's been on the uppermost part of people's minds in New Orleans. Is like, what do we need to do to shore up these levees? And then the main thing is to have competent leadership to make sure that we never get in that position again.
Doing something in Hollywood that many people of color just don't have the privilege of doing, and that's composing and scoring pictures. I mean, you are now in that class of Benny Carter, Quincy Jones, and even Oliver Nelson. What's that like now?
Well, no, it's an amazing thing to be mentioned in the same breath with those names. But, you know, it is a short list even to this day. I mean, whenever I see Marcus Miller, Stanley Clarke, we always have a joke, like we can never be in the same room at the same time, because if they bomb the place, that would be 2/3 of the black film composers in L.A. gone. But there's some young guys like Derek Hodge. He's coming on. He's been doing some things. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle. But the main thing is that there are a lot of young guys out there who, if given a chance, can really bring some fresh ideas to the world of film. I've been working with the guys at the Sundance Film Labs, Peter Garlop and those guys, and trying to make sure that we get people from all different races involved in learning what we need to do to score films, because we recognize that, you know, there's a wealth of information out there from all of these different cultures that can inform these movies in such a way that can be very unique and fresh for all of us to enjoy.
You know, Terence, Quincy Jones in his autobiography said the very first time they approached him to do a motion picture, they were just red lights, because they wanted a Henry Mancini, they wanted an Enron. It's weird. Do you still go through that now in 2011 with the studios doing that?
Well, I mean, there are things you go through. I mean, one of the frustrations for me is when people still ask if I can write for orchestra. I mean, that's a bit of bone of contention for me. But I mean, the other thing is that, you know, I don't try to dwell on it. You know, for me, it's about what do I do when given a chance. Like, I just worked with George Lucas on a film called Red Tails, and it was a beautiful experience. You know, George was really gracious in everything that he had given me the opportunity to do, and you know, we formed a beautiful relationship because he enjoyed what I did, and he enjoyed the staff of folks that I brought to the table. And it's one of those things where you sit there and you just say to yourself, if only I'm given a shot, I'll make sure that I'll do my very best. And that's the only thing you can really ask for, is a chance. You know, because if I blow it, then it's on me, and I have no excuse. You know, but given a chance, I'm gonna make sure I don't blow it.
You know, your partnership with Spike Lee has proven to be very beneficial and very fruitful. I mean, just the canvas and the palette of music that you've given those movies. I mean, Miracle on St. Anna. I mean, you're invoking a mood, a sensation, as well as conveying all kinds of situations in that movie. It's got to be very hard to write for 2.5 hours.
Well, at first it was, but the thing is, you know, when you work with a brilliant director like Spike, what makes it easy is that you just have to follow the story. You have to follow the performances of the actors. You know, that was the thing that helped me out when I did Malcolm X, because, you know, Denzel Washington was in it, and he's a great actor, man. So all of the music was just based off the storyline and those performances. So in Miracle at St. Anna, it's the same thing. While that was a huge score, one of the biggest scores I've ever written, it was also one of the easiest for me to write, because, you know, you got Laz Alonso, you got Michael Ealy, you got some great, you know, Omar Benson, you got some great young actors in that piece that really told the tale in such a way where the music could only go but in one direction. You know what I mean? And that's the mark of not only great acting but also great directing, great editing, you know. So when I'm working on projects like that, it's rather easy to do. The thing is just to keep your mindset focused on the style that you're writing in and the sonic colors that you're using to help tell a story, because those sonic colors are just like wardrobe for an actor. You know, you have to make sure you stay within the framework of that. But other than that, inside that framework, you have multitudes of options and possibilities at your disposal.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at Birdland here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank Terence Blanchard for his time, as well as the staff and management here at Birdland. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.